And the kid said, because you're a Jew, and my parents will never allow Jews to enter our house.
My guest today is Rabbi Menachem Margolin, the chairman and founder of the European Jewish Association, an organization that promotes and defends Jewish interests in Europe, a large part of which involves raising awareness of and tackling anti-Semitism. Earlier this year, it released a first-of-its-kind index which polled the best European countries to live in. Rabbi Margolin, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. All is fine. Thank you.
You've expressed the concern for the challenges faced by Jews in Europe, and earlier this year, the EJA released a report which ranked the best countries for Jews to live in based on how safe and tolerant those places were. What inspired the report?
Sure. So there are actually many times, I would say even a couple of times every year, we see different polls and surveys that aim to tell us what the number of the level of anti-Semitism in Europe, which country we see a rise of anti-Semitism, the number of incidents, etc. And this is actually something that is, of course, important to know, but it gives us a wrong impression and perception of the situation in Europe. And many times when we go to a country where we have an issue with something, they would say, but what's your problem with us? You could see in the previous surveys that by us we do not have many incidents. So we are a great country. Maybe not everything perfect, but we are great. And basically what we realize is that there is a big gap between where Jews could live in a good condition to the pictures that we get, maybe cover the number of incidents, which is of course important, but it's important only to some part of the society. And being a Jew in Europe does not mean only how many times or how many Jews will hear on the street a word such as a dirty Jew, or the graphic is to be on the cemetery. Of course it is important, but there are other things that are important. You see, every sector has the conditions it needs to grow and to actually to be alive. The education sector, the art sector, the movie sector, theater sectors, football, sports, each sector needs different things. In order to have Jewish life in Europe, and this is something that we work on it for a very long time, it's require fundamental conditions that we were struggling to make Europe understand how important it is. And I'll give you an example. Belgium decided to ban ritual slaughter. Now, when you go to the leaders of Belgium, say, we are a great country, you don't have a lot of anti-Semitism here, Jews feel welcome, it is nice. We say, yeah, you're right. But there are different criteria for Jewish life in Europe.
So, Rabbi, in the report, the countries that were ranked the top two were Italy and Hungary. And the bottom two were Poland and Belgium, with France closely behind. Were any of these findings a surprise to you?
To be honest, not. Because it is for a couple of years that we say that what's important is not what the media say or when a one incident or other incident get the media coverage. We have to concentrate on what's important for Jewish life. And when we look at the situation in Europe, and we see Hungary, for example, is a country where this is one of the countries in Europe where we see a renaissance of Jewish life. While in so many countries we see issues and less Jewish life and less synagogues and less education and struggle to get kosher food, etc. And we see in Hungary every year another one or two new synagogues. and we see Jews living in full security and welcome, and government provides support to the community, and so many good things happen there. So it was not a big surprise to me. At the same time, I think that again, the most important, I would say, outcome for this index will be that for the first time, it's present a mirror in front of leaders in Europe. That when they will say next time that Europe without Jews is not Europe, we will show them the index and say it must be words, must be action behind the words, and the action is providing the Jewish communities the conditions they need to grow. They need security, they need freedom of religion, they need support, they need to see zero tolerance towards anti-Semitism. They need to see the government is really committed to combat anti-Semitism. They would like to see the government treat Israel in a fair way, not with double standards, and because it supports our brothers and sisters. So this is what we need. So do not just come and say Germany without Jews is not Germany, or UK without Jews is not UK. This is great words, but just going and participating in memorial ceremony, it's important. But you see, until now, every time that a survey was published about the situation in Europe, what was the outcome? That the leaders would come to the media and respond and would say, we have to invest more in Holocaust remembrance and to ensure that the message of the Holocaust will be learned, blah, blah. This is important, but this is only one aspect. Government in Europe must understand that different angles, there are different aspects that are vital to have Jewish life in Europe. So this is the main outcome of this index, and what we are doing since the conference is we are going to government in Europe, we present it to them, and we show country by country what are the things that already exist in the countries, what are the things that are not exist, and what we would like to see is that every year we'll be able to update and we'll be able to see countries who are climbing in this index. So countries that now in the 8th or the 9th or 7th place will be upgraded by action. So the grades will not be given based on personal relationship with leaders or a nice commitment coming from a prime minister. It will be done by professionals based on facts that are based on this index. That of course the index will include more parameters in the future, such as very specific legislation, such as the number of hours of education in schools. So we'll be more in detailed. It will be much more detailed. So we'll add different factors that right now did not find the place yet in the index. But the index will include more parameters and more countries. And we aim and we wish to see every country, every year, countries who do more efforts in order to be in the higher standards.
So thanks to reports such as these, we know that rates of anti-Semitism vary from country to country. But I'm wondering, have you found that the way in which anti-Semitism manifests changes? For example, do some countries focus more on COVID-19 conspiracy theories than others? You know, some may more heavily lean into tropes of wealth and power.
You see, what is anti-Semitism? Anti-Semitism is people who keep, I would say, bad opinion about Jews. When people think that Jews are bad people, then it doesn't make a big difference if they're bad because they're too rich, or because they're responsible for COVID-19, or because they are too influential, or because they are not clean, or because they are not fair toward the Palestinians. The basic is that the Jews are not good people. Now, always, you have always the vast majority of people who follow and those who lead. Now, in every country, you have different populists that for different reasons spread different information, and the vast majority just follow. Now, if you know that somebody is bad, it's not very hard to believe another bad things that the guy did. If you have a person that you think that he's a very bad person, and then I come to you and say, I tell you, Eli, you know what this guy did? He was beating his kids. You say, why is such a bad person? I could believe everything about him. And the following day I will come to you and I will tell you, Eli, what this guy did, you cannot imagine. He was breaking the car of his neighbor, and you say, what a bad person. Yeah, he heard so many bad things about him. I'm not surprised. So it's not about, but it doesn't make any difference if what you think about this person is that he was beating his children or he was breaking his neighbor's car. The basic is that you have wrong perception about this gentleman. So what we have to make sure is that Europe will understand that the Jewish people are good people. The Jewish people are people that are loyal to the countries, that we believe that this is our duty to make the world a better place. That when we were given the Torah on the Mount of Sinai, we were also giving a responsibility to make the world a better place, to spread light, to be fair, to make sure that the world is fair, there is justice, there are values, that we do not kill and we do not lie and we do not steal and we are fair, that family values are important, being nice towards another people is important, making the world a better place is important. Contribute to the society is important. The Jews contributed to the society in all aspects of life, in science and technology and in medicine and in culture and in agriculture and in music and in internet and in high tech and in so many good in values, in education. This is what people need to know. And in order for us to be able to do it, we just need the tools. The Jewish culture is rich. Jewish history is rich. The percentage of good Jews is very high, but many times we just need to have the support. And if government will understand and will just realize how many good things Europe benefited from Jews throughout the history, and it is good for Europe to continue doing so, we will do it. And Jews all around Europe will do it. Jews all around the world will do it. And then even if somebody will tell you about the Jews that they did something bad, this and that, most of the people will say, it's impossible. They are good people. They just do good things. So by showing the good sides, and the good side is much wide and bigger, that to be a very important action. And with that, and also with zero tolerance, then government could punish only those who try to be populist and spread the lies. But we'll see the majority will be able to follow also good information and not just follow bad people who just try to manipulate the society for political or for personal hatred reasons.
Mm. I think what the EJA does really well is they speak out a lot on different aspects of anti-Semitism and misinformation. And one thing that's we've sort of seen slowly increase in recent years has been Holocaust denial or Holocaust revisionism. And this is a particularly pernicious form of misinformation because of the history of the Jews in Europe. And I'm wondering, in your opinion, which countries do you think are doing Holocaust education right, and which ones need to improve, and what makes for effective Holocaust education?
This is a tough question because it contains a lot of details, and I would prefer to keep this for the index, the next one that will be published. Because you see, there are when you see the different surveys that published, you could see, for example, in different countries, results such as how many people believe that the Holocaust took place, how many people deny the Holocaust, how many people think that Jews used the Holocaust for political interests. And stuff like that. This is information that you could see on different surveys that are published, and it's very hard to say what countries do better on it, because in some countries you could see that anti-Semitism is something that they just keep it for themselves, which means like they have inside their own opinion. In some countries you could see people are more vocal against Jews or even perform physical incidents. But so it's very hard to measure on it. But you see, in Belgium, for example, there is an international school. I know about Jewish kids who go to international school, and it was once that a girl was speaking to another child from the class, and she was saying, "Whoa, be happy to come to play in your house." And the child said, "But you cannot." And the child is either Italian family, children of Italian diplomats. And the kid said, "Because you're a Jew, and my parents will never allow Jews to enter our house." So, would you be able to see it in any survey or poll? Not necessarily, because they're diplomats and they do not maybe say anything against Jews. So, what they think about the Holocaust or what they know about the Holocaust is good, but it is not enough. So, the work we have, you see, this is the problem we have with the different surveys that were published until now, because it touched just very tiny angle. It is of course important, but there's many more aspects to cover. So I'm sorry for the long answer. It's very hard for me to point the finger and say which country is doing better on it. But what I could say is that we do see in many countries the understanding about the importance of Holocaust remembrance and the study about the Shoah. But we will need to see much more hours, more training, so kids will really understand much more about the Holocaust. We have a proper plan that we are about to present to governments in Europe, and once it will be adopted, we'll be able to see much more. And again, it will be only one angle, but I believe it is an important one.
Mm. Now, going to you for a second, you are originally from Israel, but you studied in New York. So I'm wondering, how did you end up working among and focusing on Europe's Jewish communities?
You know, if I wouldn't be a religious person, I would tell you by accident. As a religious and as a rabbi, I would tell you by divine providence. But I was requested to come to assist the Rabbinical Center of Europe for a couple of months. It's happened in 2004. Since I arrived to Belgium and I started to work with the communities, I realized that this is where I can contribute to our people. It was important. It was always clear to me that we have to that we all here in order to fulfill missions and not just to it's nice to enjoy life, but we are here to fulfill God's mission. So it was always clear to me that I have to be where I could contribute the most. So I'm happy that it's happened that I am in Europe. I like it very much to be in Europe and contribute and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to be part of the people who bring blessing to this continent.
Yeah, I mean, I think you already are, and I'd like to know, as someone who's studied in New York, you spent quite a bit of time in America. What are your thoughts on the rise of anti-Semitism in the United States compared to that in Europe? Do you see any differences or similarities in the type of anti-Semitism and the reaction to it?
I think that in America, it's much more popular to be Jew, much more popular than in Europe, which is a very important beginning, because one of the biggest problems in Europe is the fact that too many Jews are embarrassed to say that they're Jews. So I think that the basic in America is it's way better. I think that what we just need to see is more zero tolerance in the United States towards any expression of anti-Semitism, and that would be the solution. In Europe, it's much more heavy work that have to be done. I mean, the understanding in Europe is still not there. While in America, the understanding toward the importance, I mean, the contribution of the Jewish community to the United States is clear to everyone. The immigration of the Jews, the integration, the proudness of being Jewish, to be Jewish in public. The situation we cannot really compare the situation of the United States to the situation in Europe. we also see so I mean in Europe many times we have to convince the government about the importance of Jewish life and combating anti-Semitism, the importance of the existence of Jewish life, and the importance of the efforts to ensure the continuity of Jewish life. While in America it's very clear.
So, Rabbi Margolin, I want to ask you, if someone is looking to help in the fight against anti-Semitism, they may not be sure how to start. What advice would you give?
So actually, we have in our organization what we call diplomatic council. The diplomatic council aim exactly for people who like to combat anti-Semitism. What do we do? First of all, we provide training. We provide training for people who would like to combat anti-Semitism. We organize several times a year what's called boot camp. This is 3 days seminar that provide professional tools to activists, how to combat anti-Semitism, how to combat on campuses, how to organize events, how to answer difficult questions, how to speak to media, how to speak to politicians. And in general, we invite serious people. We select people to make sure that we have the right people, because it's a serious investment from our side. We cover all the expenses from travel to hotel and training and everything. The idea is to have activists in Europe who have the tools to combat anti-Semitism. Then they could join our diplomatic council, and we give tasks and missions. We just had now a delegation of activists from Europe that we traveled them to Israel for a couple of days. They had a strong and serious training program in Israel for a couple of days, together with the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the IDF, and other relevant institutions. And we provide not only tools but also action plans. So basically, this year we're going to focus a lot on the combating anti-Semitism on campuses. And it's also, I would say, an invite, a call for any Jew who face anti-Semitic incidents to contact us. We're more than happy to be on everyone's side and to try to guide people on how to combat anti-Semitism. So again, to answer your question, any person who would like to combat anti-Semitism, please contact our organization. We'll be inviting you to the boot camp we organize, and we'll be able to give professional not only tools but then also tasks. For example, we're organizing now a delegation of politicians to Auschwitz, which this is something that we do at least once a year. So a serious person who are part of the diplomatic council will be able also to invite politicians, to follow up with politicians, and that's just another aspect of raising the awareness about the importance of Holocaust remembrance. So if, for example, since one of our mission is to have more education about the Holocaust, in Europe, it's important for us that the decision makers will understand why it is important. This is why we invite and we take a group of politicians to Auschwitz every year. So again, an activist who would like to be part of it is more than welcome. And I believe that together we could really make a difference.
And as we wrap up now, what is the EJA currently working on, and where can people find you?
So we're active on many fields. As I said, we have the combating anti-Semitism is one aspect. When it comes to combating, I would try to make it simple. Now that we have the index, our job is to make sure that all the countries in Europe will adopt all the conditions that are important to ensure Jewish life. So this is our target. So we have to go country by country, and we see with them what is needed, what does not exist yet, and we try to convince the decision makers to adopt the additional items, I would say, the additional conditions that are important. In order to achieve it, we have to raise the awareness of politicians. So any person who would like to be an activist could contact us through our website, ejassociation.eu, and join us, and we will guide him or exactly what can be done in order to raise the awareness of decision makers on the different aspects, from combating anti-Semitism to more education about the Holocaust, Jewish safety and security, freedom of religion, higher definition, voting in favor of Israel in the UN General Council, and other aspects. That's another thing that we do. So right now, speaking about the specific program, we're organizing another delegation of important politicians to come to Auschwitz, as I said. So we invite activists to contact us, and we can guide them. So there are a lot of things that activists could be part of it, from campuses to general society, social media, politicians, established media, and more. So I do invite anyone who wants to be an activist combating anti-Semitism. Please contact us, and our team will be more than happy to be in contact and see how we can work together.
All right. Rabbi Margolin, thank you so much for coming on Podcast Against Antisemitism.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all what you do. You do really fantastic job. All the best.